on each side so I don't have to screw it down so far. I do that just simply so I don't have to screw it down so far. Okay, I'm going to stop about right there until I get my lamination in. Now I'm using a self-wound laminate. STA Industries makes a very good lamination. It's clear. It don't fish eye on you. The little fish eye you see will be gone in 24 hours. I believe in self-wound lamination because you don't have a liner to deal with. When you have a chance to use it, I highly recommend you use it self-wound. When you lay this product down, you want to just eyeball it. If you have a T-square, you can hold it up and just about line it up perfect. But I'm pretty good at eyeballing it. I'll do it a couple of times, then we'll have it. I want to cut my pressure on. I don't want much pressure on this. If you're doing machine-applied labels, you need to lay down flat as you can the lamination. If you lay it down with much tension, it's going to curl, and when they go to apply the labels are just going to curl up and not apply to the product. So it's important that you run as least amount of tension as possible. The next thing I do is I'm going to pull the lamination down. I'm going to lift my roll up. I'm going to just feed this lamination through there like so, and I'm going to pull it straight up, and it'll show me where it's centered at when I set it down. All right, I can automatically see I need to move over about that much, minimum. Now then, I pull it over again. Okay, that looks much better. Now I'm going to take this and cut it off. Stick it back. Stab myself in the side. Makes it a little fun. Boy, that'll never happen again. Now I'm going to put a little pressure on this. You want to put good enough pressure to really smash it out, but you don't need overwhelming pressure. You don't want to bend your journals just to laminate. Screw it down all the way, just barely touching. Same over here, make sure your blocks are in tight. Okay, now I want to put even pressure. If I don't put even pressure, it'll wrinkle on me. Go to idle and see what it does. Okay, it's over too far to one side. I'm going to bump it over a little bit. Go to idle again. Still just a little bit more. I'm just watching it as it moves over just like your weld guide. Okay, it needs to move about an eighth more, and that's it. All right, now then I'm going to run it through. Okay, now you can see right here my lamination is evenly spread out on the die. And when I pull it up, my product is fully laminated. Also, I'm not getting hardly any curl at all to it. When I start running, if it curls on up, I'm in trouble, but that's fairly flat right now. Now that I know my lamination's working, I know my die's working, all of this great stuff, guess what? I'm ready to just cut it, because there ain't no reason to me sitting here running up lamination when I'm not ready with my print. Now I've got all my converting done. My web straight, my underscores done, my die cuts done, my lamination's done, my stations are built. Now I know I can do the product. So now I'm ready to start pouring inks and setting my plates in place. All right, just to give you a demonstration of what too tight and a curl would be, I've cut my pressure up on the film laminate. I'm going to run it down. Okay, now then, that's tightly put on there. And see how my label curled? That would be very difficult, unacceptable. So if you're in rewind or finishing and you're getting labels that will laminate like that, you might want to say something because they're not going to apply. Now watch the difference. As I'm running this, I'm going to adjust my pressure here, back down to where I was. Big difference. When I'm mounting plates, it's critical that I always use my score. This is a manual plate mounter. What I want to do is I want to butt this up to it as close as possible. It's got to touch it. I'm going to spin this around about to my score, and then I'm going to let my tape itself down so I don't have any manual influence on it. Spread it across. I want to cut it, and remember, when you're cutting this, speed is the secret. If you try to real slow like that, it's never ever going to be straight, fast, or none of that. Rip it on across. Same thing. When I'm turning this, I'm going to turn it and I'm going to smooth the edges out from edge to edge. It does no good to push it just in the middle. You're going to have air bubbles out there. And I do it quickly, so you want to watch. I just do just like that. I'm hitting edge to edge all the way around. So I'm not going to have any air bubbles that I'm going to have to deal with, which is going to be critical in what I'm printing. Now I'll just put me a crease with my fingernail, and I'm just going to slide it. Same thing, do it with a little speed. Now I've got a perfect seam all the way across, and that's what I want. Next thing I'm going to do is pull off my backing. I'm going to take me a highlighter. I'm going to highlight my seam. The highlighter works so that it won't lift off. It deadens the adhesive. If you use something else, it might make it stick. A Sharpie will make it stick down worse. So use a highlighter. There's other things people use, but that allows me not to lift that seam up when I pick it back up. Then I'm going to take me a pen, and on this manual plate mounter, I want to do two things. I want to make sure that it's solid in there, and I want to make sure my ruler's right. It's up to the edge of the gear, and that I push down on this side before I draw that line so I get a straight line. Now I'm ready to put a plate on. Now I'm running this as a rewind direction number 3. This is our box label, okay? What I want to do, I personally cut these plates so I know they're crooked. I'm going to use this mark, my second 2 marks, because I know they're dead straight. If I put that mark and that mark on a straight line, I should come out fairly straight. I'm going to line it up, and then I just want to spin it around the first time and see how close. Now then, just by taking air bubbles out, I think I'm going to have that dead on. And remember, when you're mounting plates, it don't count to be close. That's only horseshoes and hand grenades. You got to get it dead on every time. And it's inexcusable to send a plate to the press that is not straight. Don't do it. You know if it's straight or not when it comes off the plate mounter. All right, now then, what I'm going to do is I need to make sure that everything lines up from that point on. So I'm going to mark my bear with a pen to make sure that next time I mount my next plate, it lines up. It's just that simple. Remember your rod, it's got to slide in one hand. If it don't, here again, you're going to mess up. Back off a little bit. I'm going to pour my ink in my pan. I want to make sure I pour it in the middle. I don't want to pour it on everything. And I want to fill it up to about these L brackets. Now, the only thing that's going to be touching the ink is the metering roll. When I engage it and carry ink up to the Analox roll, you'll probably have to come back and add a little bit more ink to your station. I want to cut my metering roll, Analox roll motor on, my Analox roll motor on. I want to engage my metering roll till it starts turning. Now as it's turning, it'll bring ink to my Analox roll. I want to get it evenly across both sides. And the way I can tell is because I'll see even rows created here. And when I've got it even, then I know it's right. And as you can see, that's even. Now, I don't have my doctor blade down now, and you can see what happens there. Let's do it one time without the doctor blade, just so y'all see what happens. Why it's important you use the doctor blade and Analox roll. I can engage this metering roll all the way, and it'll clean that doctor blade off. But watch what happens when I cut the press on. Watch what happens when I cut the press on. You want to notice that this red here is going to get instantly darker. Watch it. See how dark it got? And as I speed up, it gets darker and darker. So with a doctor blade, a metal doctor blade on there, what happens is no matter what speed I run, only the ink that's in the cells of the Analox roll come through. So this gives me consistency no matter what's going on. Now I'll put the doctor blade in. Slide it in. Before I engage it, I want to get my metering roll back like it's supposed to be. Even rows. See, it's evenly dispersed across there. Evenly up here. Now then, I want to come down with my doctor blade. And same thing, if I come down, if I'm taking it off this side, I need to come up and come down over there. Taking it off, come up, come down over here until I get it even, just like that. You should hear a little bit of grinding to begin with. It's a brand new doctor blade. But now watch, that I got the doctor blade on there, I go cut it on, my ink color won't change. It stays the same because the only ink getting through there is what's on that Analox roll. Once again, I want to show you real quick, perfect impression. We talk about it all the time. What I'm going to be doing is setting my image to my bearers, not to the picture. If I'm printing on this side, come up, come down, make it work out. If you're pushing down on one side and you just come down on the other, you're going to smush your dots out and it's going to trash up on you. But real quick, I'm going to show you perfect impression on the Mark Andy. When I go to idle, I want to cut my print on. We do everything manually. And then I want to slowly just come down. See, I'm hitting on that side. Now I can't just come down on this side. I'll cause all kind of problems. I've got to come up on that side and down on this side. Now I came up on this side and down on this side. As you see, I'm still getting print on that side and not this side. Here again, I got to come up and down. Now I've got it different. I come up on this side, down on that side, and then you'll see I'm getting a solid print there. Now I'm going to come down on both of them evenly. And I can do this inside of about 10 feet when I'm doing it on a normal basis. It don't take very long to hit perfect impression. But for your demonstration, I wanted you to be able to see exactly what it looks like when you're doing it. My complete setup's now completed. Now I'm ready to get to the easiest part of the job, and that's laying the print down. All my converting's done. I got all the materials, the supplies. I got fresh ink, good plates. Now my goal is I need to put this together as fast and as less wasteful as possible. We want to be sure, here again, everything's centered. We look good there. Our dies are centered. I want to make sure that I register everything to my first color. In this case, it's the yellow. Why is it the yellow? Because on our color proof, we have laid out yellow, magenta, cyan, and black. Sometimes it's in a different order. Whatever your proof is laid out, it's the way you need to put it back together. What I'm going to simply do now is I'm going to pull this in, try to register it all as quick as possible, and by the end of the press, I should have a good product and a minimum amount of footage. Just for kickers, I'm going to take me a black magic marker. Put us a good long X right here. Because what's really